Friday night radio, and we're doing it again. And it is quite amazing when people from around the world, they call in and they share their experiences to the world. It's happening right now. The number to call in is 347-934-0378. What about what we just saw right in Third Phase Moon? It's going viral right now. What's been discovered at Antarctica? Quite amazing. A massive pyramid, if you ask me. New discoveries. Could this have been something that was built tens of thousands of years ago, and now we're seeing it now because of climate change and things are melting? I'm not exactly sure. All I know it is a quite amazing discovery. We want to get people's opinion on what this is all about. Why now? Why now? And it is quite amazing. Third Phase Moon Radio is live right now. So let's get to callers. We're looking for good UFO stories. If you've seen something strange in the night skies, in the day skies, or even better, broad daylight sightings. Wow, we love those things. If you have evidence, photographs, videos, we could share it live right now. Have you been taken aboard an alien craft? Now, that's something we really, really like to hear. So let's go to a call. Holy, we're live. Yeah. Hello. Yes. You there?
Huh?
You want to go to the rest?
What's that?
Hey, we're live right now. Are you there, sir? Okay, they're just listening in, I guess. They're just listening in. Let's bring somebody else on. You never know how it's going to go down when you're doing this live. So quite exciting. Let's see. Are you there with us? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we got you. Where are you calling from?
Are you listening? Am I talking to you now? That's awesome.
Yeah. Yes, you are. Welcome to Third Phase of Moon Live.
Thank you. I'm calling from Salt Lake City, Utah, and
okay.
I cannot believe what is happening in the skies here. Okay. I live in the city, and lately I've been looking up at these stars, and they have blues and greens and all these colors coming off of them. So I went and bought some binoculars. It's unbelievable. These enormous orbs are all over the skies here. And the ones that you can see that look like stars, you look at those, and then you see these other ones in the background that are cloaked, but you can still see the colors coming off of them. You can't see them with your naked eye, but you can see them through the binoculars. I have people stopping me on the street, like, what are you looking at? Come here. And I ask them, well, does that look like a star? Yeah. Well, let me show you with my binoculars. And people are like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go buy some binoculars. It's unbelievable what's going on here. It's
kind of cool because Salt Lake City, you got really nice clear skies over there, especially at night. I lived on Sandy Street over there, and I visited Salt Lake City, and I noticed on how really clear the night skies are. So you're saying, are these things moving around at all? Because that would be a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
If they're pretty.
Oh yeah.
Really? What kind of
they're
action
moving around. They're moving slow, and I'm actually talking to them telepathically, and they're listening to me, which is really weird. I'm like, I see you guys up there. I'm not afraid. I don't mind you guys moving around, and then one of them will start moving across the sky and repositioning itself. I've never seen anything like this. I'm feeling like this is the most incredible time in the history of our planet.
I have to agree. Go ahead.
And I've seen UFOs my entire life, and I think I was abducted when I was a child.
What makes you think that? What makes you think that?
Well, I was 5 years old, and we were in California
it happens when you're
growing
young.
up. It happened to me and my sister, and she remembers it too.
At the same time?
At the same time, yeah. And then when we the next, I remember it flying over, and then the next thing we remember is it taking off. And we had missing time because we went in the house, and my mother was screaming at us that she couldn't find us. And we had just been in the backyard, right? And she was screaming at us that we were gone for 45 minutes. And we were like, we didn't realize that we had been gone. I still don't remember everything that happened, but I do remember a little. And, no examinations or anything like that. I was 5 years old. I thought they were cool, the little gray guys.
Sure.
Because
what do you
they
remember
were
seeing?
I remember seeing the
exactly
the ETs.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing. Yeah, I remember seeing these gray aliens, and I thought they were really cool because they were so short, and I was a little kid. And I remember, I just have like memories, visions of them. They didn't do anything to me that I remember. It was just like, I don't know what that was about. I don't remember an examination or anything like that, you know. But I do remember liking them. I thought they were cool because they were so short and little, and they're, you know, I considered them my friends. You know.
Wow. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, were they?
Yeah.
Were they wearing anything?
Yeah, they did have like this blue suit thing, you know, outfit, like a blue.
Was it
outfit.
like a jumpsuit? Almost looked like a jumpsuit.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, it was like that. Yeah.
Wow,
the emblem.
quite interesting. Okay, something just happened to our computer screen, but everything's still running smooth right now, so that's cool. You know,
okay.
There's a lot of people that have close encounters at young ages with these entities, and they're wearing these jumpsuit type attire. That's a strange thing, because sometimes when people see the alien grays in their adulthood, they're basically just one being, no attire, just, you know, they're just the alien gray, slinky.
Right.
But when you have these encounters when you're young, they appear in their little jumpsuits as well. And you said they seemed playful?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't afraid at all. I'm still not afraid at all. And I'm from Honolulu, actually, and I moved here from the Big Island, as a matter of fact, from Pahoa. But you know, in 2011,
really?
I saw another craft above me. I was living up Pearl Ridge area, and I was walking my dog at about 11:30 at night, and something made me look straight up, which is hard for me because I don't have the best neck. And I looked straight up, and there was this enormous black, elongated type triangle, no sound. It was big, and it was just hovering above the mountain. And I just looked up, and it stayed there for about 45 minutes. I was walking my dog, and I looked down for a split second. And, you know, I knew it was a triangle, by the way, because it was darker black than the sky behind it, and it was blocking the stars out. So I looked down for 2 seconds, and I looked up again, and it was gone.
You know, that's, again, amazing, because I've had an experience here on the Big Island where we saw a massive black triangular craft, and it basically took out all the skies, and you could see no stars. You could totally make out what it was, and it was massive. It was huge, and it didn't make any sound. You know, there's a lot of activity in Hawaii. So you calling in from Oahu right now?
No, I'm in Salt Lake City. I live
You're
here now.
in Salt Lake City. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Where did this abduction take place? Did this abduction take place in Hawaii when you were younger?
No, it was in Garden Grove, California. I was born in 1964, so I was 67 is when it happened, 1967, and it was a saucer shape, and there were lights on the bottom of it, and they were mostly white lights, and I remember seeing it coming along, and I remember telepathically, and my sister remembers too, that it told us that they told us they weren't going to hurt us. You know what I mean? Because my sister was terrified. I wasn't that terrified, but she was really terrified. And then the next thing I remember, it was flying away, and we went inside to tell our mother, and she was mad at us and yelled at us, where have we been? And we didn't understand at the time, but since I've gotten older, I have these memories of what happened, you know. It was a good experience for me that I remember, you know. So
incredible.
Yeah.
This is what's amazing when we do these radio shows, and people actually share for the first time their experiences to the world right now. This is quite amazing. What we're going to do is we're going to take a break. Maybe we'll get some questions from the viewers to the person that just called in, and maybe more incredible stories just into Third Phase Moon. This is Blake Cousins. Stand by, everybody.
objects, origin unknown.
All right, third phase of the moon. We're back live, taking calls from around the world. Let's get to it. Blake Cousins here. Let's go to a caller that's been standing by. I guess his name is Billy. Is that you, Billy? Hi there. That was sounding weird. You there? Billy. Area code 606. Do you read me?
Hello. Yes. Hello, Blake.
Hey, how's it going?
Yes,
Where are you calling
hello.
from? You read me?
I'm calling from Indiana.
Welcome to the show.
Yes. I have I'm on your chat pretty much every single week. Anyhow, I have a story to share with you. My best friend, his name's Sean, he's told me that when he was about 12 years old, which I had trouble believing him, and you will after I tell you what he did. But anyway, when he was 12 years old, he said that he had got up in his bedroom, and this thing, shadowy creature, whatever, had like grabbed him by the throat and pushed him up against his wall of his room, and said something that sounded like pineal, like that, but more raspy voice, I guess. And anyway, so he didn't have a clue what that was. But then when he, later on in life, about, I guess, 23, 24, he said he realized that it said pineal, like the pineal gland in your brain, like the third eye is what. And his name is Sean. And I said, well, Sean, what's the deal? I mean, I said, I was pretty much ignorant to this too. I said, what's the deal about the pineal gland? And he said, well, there's a lot to it and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, I didn't really know. And long story short, he said this thing looked like the witch from The Wizard of Oz at the time, because that's all he could compare it to at the time. He didn't know anything about any reptilians or whatever. And
okay.
So he said that the thing grabbed him like that and said pineal and kept pointing at him and lifted him about 2 foot off the ground by his throat and just kept yelling pineal and dropped him. And, I don't think he could have made that up, because that's a pretty wild story. He didn't know nothing about no reptilians or whatever, but he thinks that is what it is. And I thought I'd share that with you because I know we don't make up stories, you don't lie. And I thought,
sure.
That's pretty wild.
But, that's crazy when it's coming from a kid. And it sounds like, was there how he got thrown up against the wall by whatever this thing was? Let's go over that one more time. I want to hear that.
He said that he got woke up. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And trust me, I'm an extreme skeptic, so I went through the whole 9 yards about, drilling him. Was you on something? Was you sick? Was you taking this? Was you taking that? But anyway, no. He said that he got woken up, and he looked, for some reason, he seemed like a shape of like this 7 foot, like his room ceiling is 8 foot tall, and he said that there's a 7 foot tall, like thing standing in his bedroom. And he got up and stood up, and he said the thing came over and grabbed him, slammed him against the wall, then raised him up about a foot from the ceiling with its, hand around his throat, and said something like, pineal, like that. I mean, that's the best I can, say what he told me. But
gotcha. Where's this? Is he your son that this happened to?
No, it's my friend. His name's Sean. I'm 35 years old, and he is too.
Okay.
School friends, but yeah, he told me about that, and I said, I like he told me about like a month ago about this, and And I said, I'm a skeptic, and I believe in UFOs, but I'm still pretty much a skeptic. And I was like, well, where would he even this at? I mean, I thought, for him to be lying, that's a wild lie or a wild tale for somebody to tell. The pineal gland. Who would think of that, and who would say it? And he swore on his mom's life that he's telling the truth. And I said,
sure.
You wasn't just dreaming, I said, you wasn't just dreaming? He said, no, I swear to God. He said, this thing grabbed me. And he said, we moved from that house about a month later. He said, I ran to my mom's bedroom, woke her up, and she seen all these marks on my throat and everything else for the red marks. He said the thing grabbed him by the throat and raised him off the ground about a foot from the ceiling and said, pineal, 3 times over. And he didn't even know what pineal was at the time when he was 12 years old. And, later on in life, he checked it out. It's always been bothering him about that. He said, with the third eye and all that. So.
Quite interesting when you bring up the pineal gland, because it kind of opens up, some people say, the third eye. And if you get into the right vibration, the right frequency, you can see into the 4th dimension. And there are basically possibly creatures all around us right now that we're not even aware of. And then the pineal gland is pretty sensitive to this. So maybe that's what the boy tapped into. So if you could get the boy on and get him back on Third Phase of Moon Radio, that would be incredible. So bring him back, and let's get him back on, because we want to hear his side of the story. Thanks for calling in. Now, let's get to more callers. We've got a lot of callers calling in, so this is quite exciting, and we've got to get to everybody right now. So let's go to area code 832. You're live, Third Phase of Moon. Welcome to the show.
Hello? Blake?
Yeah, I'm here. Welcome to the show. What's your name, sir?
Guess what? Yes, I'm calling from Houston, Texas, and my name is David Barrera.
David, welcome to the show.
How are you doing, Blake?
I'm doing good. What's going on in Texas?
All right.
I know last week was quite incredible. We had like 5 callers at least claim that they're seeing a crazy, strange, black, shapeless object over there. Have you seen a UFO recently over there in Texas?
See, I've been viewing your channel for years, right? And me and my girlfriend had viewed a UFO recently. Not recently, probably like a year ago, at her house, at her garage. We were sitting down in the trunk, and we looked up, right? And we saw a couple, it looked like balloons, so we said, hey, look, there's a couple balloons up there, like 7 of them. And then I told her that, so 10 minutes later, they were still there. So I asked myself, what are they? What could they be? And I looked it up on the internet, and that's when I found you. And from there, I started seeing a lot of UFOs.
You had your eyes on the skies now.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And the last one I've seen, and this was many years, it looked like a fireball. And I thought it was something I might have seen, because I was high, right? I was high with my friend, and I was like, wow, okay. So I know what it is now, because I've seen the same one yesterday. So I'm like, wow.
Well, thanks. Get your camera ready. Do you have a camera? Are you capturing these things at all? They look like fire in the sky. No doubt about it.
I have not captured none of them.
Get the camera, man. Get the camera, David. We want to see the action, because it's the 20th century, right, people? Almost everybody's got cell phones with cameras, so get it ready, because things are going down, and they're happening real fast. Let's get to other callers. Let's bring them in. Let's bring them in right now. 240, you're live, Third Phase Moon. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name?
My name is Lee. How are you?
Hey, Lee, welcome to the show. Doing good.
I've been listening to the show just for a little while. I've never actually called into any show. I've been a follower of many esoteric beliefs, religious beliefs, since I was born. I'm Native American, so we're raised that way. The only reason I'm calling into your show is because for the last few months I've been listening, the little people that call, they just seem like the stories they tell are the same stories that my mother told me. Including a story that I heard a few months ago with some woman who worked with people who worked in black, and she was harassed, but also helped by individuals. Her father was murdered by secret governments. I was raised on those stories, and I was also raised the same way her children and grandchildren were raised, which is don't tell anybody those stories, not because they'll pick on you or think you're weird, but because we're still kind of in hiding. And the people who are calling into your show who are telling these stories and telling that they're seeing these beings, the connection that I'm drawing, and I'm pretty sure your brother is drawing as well, and most listeners, these are the same groups of people. And in Native American culture, it's very common that we branch off, but we're always brought back together in a time of need. Now, the reason I'm calling into this show is I just want to point out, I think that's what's happening. There's never been a time that I've felt as close to an age or time as I have now, this specific time. I know a lot of people feel connected to pre-ancient Egypt and Sumer, but right now this 21st century wave of information coming in, being raised the way I did, it doesn't startle me, but I'm very young. I'm only 26 years old. I'm very successful. I live in Washington, D.C. I work in Washington, D.C. And even the people who run the world from where I stand, they're very shocked at the information that I have. Dr. Stephen Greer, he's a very well-known UFOologist. He just sits in restaurants up the street from my apartment complex. He's just there doing his work. Nobody bothers him or knows who he is, yet this is the same man who does disclosure work for the whole planet.
Absolutely. We've had him on the show quite a bit of times. Yeah, we've broken some... He's a cool dude. He's trying to work it out. He's a lobbyist in Washington trying to get the word. Apparently, he says that Obama's about to he quoted that Obama is going to release something before his term is done in regards to this phenomenon. But go ahead. I want to hear more of your story in Washington, please.
My story is basically things are changing. It's not really much of a story as the story you create is the story you live. My story is there are some people who are on the leading edge of this wave of change, which would be you, people like Michael Eisner, people like Stephen Greer, people like the Hicks team, Hay House Productions, Deepak Chopra. Even though all of those groups I named are different type of works, they all connect in one end, and that's my point there. Everything is just seeming to connect. My thing is, what happens when it all connects? What happens when we get to that point? I've seen that before, which is why I'm saying, which is why none of this shocks me. When I see aliens and when I see UFOs, it doesn't shock me. I say, hey, and we go on from there. If I have a question, I can ask it, and some random stranger will come up to me within minutes with an answer and tell me clear as day, they told me to give you the answer. Now, stuff like that happens all the time in Washington, D.C., and when I say D.C., I don't mean just D.C. I mean Maryland, too, which is old Indian reservation land. I literally live on a street called Indian Head Highway. And it happens in Virginia, too. It happens all the time in Virginia. In Virginia, that's where we have the snake juices from ancient Mesopotamia times.
Can I ask you what your tribe is? What tribe you're from?
My tribe is called the Yamasee tribe. The Yamasee tribe is a very old Native American tribe that stems from the Olmecan tribes. You have different types of Native Americans. You have some that are red, you have some that are brown, you have some that are black. The Aboriginals in America would be the black ones. When Christopher Columbus said we found Indians, he was referring to my tribe. We were dark-skinned. We are dark-skinned like Africans and Indians of the East. So the Yamasee tribes are one of the first tribes that colonists encountered here. My tribe is the tribe that fed the American settlers when the French stole their rations. And you won't hear about that tribe. You'll hear about the Pocahontas story and John Smith. But the reason you don't hear about my tribe is because we don't want to be heard about. we're deep in the American history and deep in the world history. We hold on to our traditions and our teachings, but there's a lot of information about it.
Do they believe in extraterrestrial existence? Do they believe that they're visiting?
We don't like to call them extraterrestrials because we know them as beings from the non-physical realm. It's as simple as that. They're not aliens. They are humanoid, but they're mostly spiritual. Yeah, dimensions, from what I've been taught from my childhood, dimensions are just ways that humans have separated spiritual planes. So first dimension, second dimension, third dimension, those are just planes of existence that we live on, and we understand them as dimensions and planes. So yeah, we believe in aliens and UFOs, but we know them to be exactly what they are and who they are. Now, there are some things that I noticed I haven't been taught, like the reptilian civilization. That wasn't something I was raised upon, but they are existent in other Native American folklore. And I got into the Native American Nephilim reptilian wars when I started listening to you guys, and I started listening to all these people who were being kidnapped by these reptilians. I was always brought to believe that they were friendly, that they were skywalkers and here to help you, not to scare you. When I started hearing those stories, that started to interest me. So I have a different view about the UFOs. My favorite person who calls in to speak to you, Jack at Jack's Ranch, I love him. I love him because he's just straight up, just 100% giving a raw reaction. You know, he talks about how he gets his shotgun and his dog, and he's just out there ready to fight to see what's going on. I want to know. That's something that's just weird to me. I don't know if it's governmental. I don't know if it's something new. But it's what brings me to your show. It's something that I know exists, but something that's very new to me. My tribe. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When people share their stories right here at Third Phase Moon, you just never know what's going to be coming up next, and that's what's quite amazing. It's a wild ride, and people are coming together from around the world with these similar experiences, or they want to find out more about what they hear, what they're seeing. And then all of a sudden, you're in this whole different train of thought about the way the world is working right now. What I wanted to ask you, what's the word on Washington right now? Is there any sense, because they've been talking about it a lot. Hillary Clinton's saying she's going to get to the bottom of this, which is a big statement from a politician. But what's this?
I can give you my answer from two different perspectives, because I'm a young student at University of Maryland, and I've lobbied for environmental science groups for the last 7 years, and I'm a public relations manager. So I have one side of me who's just this hippie, who's from Maryland, and I have the political side of me who was born in D.C. and was raised on that. So from the political side, there is nothing that we can do at this point. Nobody. From people like us, we don't want Hillary Clinton to win. We don't really want Bernie Sanders to win, because if he messes up, that's on us. And we don't want Trump to win, because let's face it, it's Donald Trump. Nobody wants him anywhere. On that basis, there's nothing that anyone can do. The Republicans here, they're lost for words. They have nothing else to do at all. They are thinking about bringing candidates on who they never liked from the first Obama election when he was running against McCain. McCain's pre-runner, the guy who's going to be his vice president, they were thinking about bringing him on to work with Donald Trump just because he's someone who can calm down the Republican Party. The Republican Party is looking for someone who can get their people off their back. And the Democratic Party, we're just sitting here with our hands up like, whichever way it goes, we know we're going to be okay. Obama's going to be in D.C. for 2 more years, and everything he's done for the last 8 years has pissed off liberals, conservatives, and any anti-establishment group. So 40 years down the line, we're good. Obama pulled a Clinton, basically. So Democrats and independents, we're sitting over here like whatever happens, happens. It's just sitting back and laughing at the Republicans. And in D.C. specifically, I don't know if you've ever been here, but it is black and white. It's very black and white like that. It's sad, but it is. I'm brown, Native American, but when I go outside, I'm black. I have friends who are Spanish or Hawaiian or Asian, but they're considered white. It's very straight down the middle. So there are two sides to it. The other side, which is the colorful side, the UFO team, Stephen Greer, and all the other head of the table, head of the councils, we're more involved in what has been called disclosure. Because like I said, all these pieces to the puzzles are coming in. There are little things that are going on that could distract us from what really matters, like is explaining what's happening at Jack Ranch. You know, that matters a little bit more to me than what Donald Trump is doing with his wife and his daughters. It's really a distraction, though. People, it's easier to get work done with certain type of categories like humanitarianism, student loans, and things of social matter when there's such a big mess going on in politics and economic funding. I mean, we have people in the United States who are out of water, out of clean water, yet the most important things in the world are why is Obama allowing kids to use the same bathrooms? It's really just sitting back and watching and putting, just choosing what's best for you to focus on.
Yeah, let's get down to the basics here. What's going on at Area 51? Apparently, his press secretary says that he has all the files, and he doesn't know looked into them or not. That's the crazy thing. If he's got it down on the line, there's this technology out there that could benefit us all. Yeah, the files have been released.
The files were released years ago, and they're public accessible, but only to people who have that access. I have a friend, a very close friend, who works for Interpol. He has that access, but he is not allowed to talk to us about it. And the more we ask him questions, or the more we have some drinks in Adams Morgan or Chinatown, and we just start to talk about it. Yeah, see, they cut him off after that. They sit him down and say, hey, you cannot talk to them about this. That is actually how it goes. They come to you and say, even though it's out, they want us to earn that access, basically. They want us to somehow...
Where do they come out of? They come out of nowhere and they go, hey, look, you can't talk about this? A secret shadow government that's controlling Interpol?
It's not even a shadow government at this point. It's not. It's not a shadow government at this point. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. My mother was in prison when I was born for her liberal work. She was a protester. She did a lot of work, and we come from a very prestigious family. Now, she was arrested, but she was sent to a special prison. D.C. federal prison, which is not, that's a woman's prison, but it's for specific people. Now, when I was born in a tunnel under that prison. That is a private tunnel used for only specific people, but it's a very well-known tunnel. It's supposed to be secret, but everybody knows about it. There's no more shadowing in this world anymore. People like me, I'm willingly open to go out and to call radio stations with you and your brothers and express these things. It's not that I'm not going to say that the shadow doesn't exist. It only exists to people who refuse to see the light. That's what's going on here now. I mean, if you go to D.C., there's this place called Chinatown. Everywhere you look, there are symbols. There are churches, very old symbols. D.C. is a very old land, and so is Virginia, and so is Maryland. But some people choose to ignore those literal symbols that are carved into buildings that have been carved there since the 1600s. It's really not shadow anymore because it seems like everybody's coming here. I used to think everybody was coming here because all the jobs were here, but there's a lot more going on here specifically than, jobs.
So your friend that works at the Interpol, and I could understand this. I have friends in the FBI and the NSA, and we like to talk about things. And, when you're friends with people and then you want to get some information out of them, and, these guys, they can't tell you everything, but there are these moments in time that they feel that they could trust you, that they're not going to tell. You're not going to tell anyone.
Those times where he does come out openly, and he's actually quit Interpol, I think it was about 4 months ago because of these specific situations. He's come out crying because he's had to do something like kill kids because they were planning a terrorist attack that was actually going to go through. They've been monitoring these terrorists for years now, and they find out that they're only about 14 years old, so they must have been doing this since they were 9. Now, it's true that they were trained to do this and they don't know any other life, but when you have to press a button to blow up a bunch of kids, it kind of hurts you. And then you see it on the news 2 days later. They tell you that it was this horrible terrorist group and that the American who set the call to go in did the right thing. What they don't tell you is that that American has been listening in on this 14-year-old's life for the past 8-9 years and has gotten to know this person. Those are the things that we talk about, not because it's interesting, but because this is my actual friend, and when he needs consoling, you got to be there. You never want to talk about the bad things, but sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes there are things in the world that happen that we don't want to face, and I see that a lot here in D.C. We do have good discussions, though. We do have discussions about new technologies. I know about apps, like really important apps before they come out, things like that. But nothing too serious that we can talk about. Like, he can't even get on OkCupid without getting permission from his boss or his boss's boss to put certain information out.
Wow, this
Interpol
is quite incredible. Interpol, a person that worked at Interpol, is kind of basically fed up. He's fed up with the system. He's fed up the way things are going, and I got a feeling that there's information that he's holding, and he's going to have to hold it for a long time, because once you're in this thing, you sign a contract, and then basically you're set to it for almost life. Let's hope there's some whistleblowers out there. Tell you what, we got 20 minutes left. Blake Cousins here, Third Phase Moon. We'll be right back, and we're going to get to more callers. Third Phase Moon, Blake Cousins. Let's get some more reports, more callers in to Third Phase Moon. Let's get to it right now. 707, you're live. Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
Doing good. Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Vallejo, California.
Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to coming up there this July. What's going on over there?
Well, I'm going to tell you about this guy that's been messing with me for a good portion of my life, and I've hid from him. I call him Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead? You've been hiding from Pumpkinhead?
Yeah, I believe he's the leader of a group of Greys.
I'm just about to laugh, but let me ask you, are you serious?
I am dead serious, man. Just
okay.
I'm gonna come out and because I want to hear if anybody else got something to say about this dude. He's an alien, and he's like a Gray with a glowing white head, a larger head than a regular Gray would have. He messed with me before, and I literally went off the grid, lived inside of a bridge, moved. I'm currently living in a 3-story apartment building because I know he couldn't find me up in here and up inside of a concrete bridge. He came and messed with me a few times, like every 4 years, from the time I was about 12 till later on in years. he had came in the house, never did any weird shit to me or anything, but he messed with the people in the house. He had a device that literally paralyzed me, and like I felt like I couldn't breathe and I couldn't move. Right? You still got me?
Well, I got you. I'm kind of referring back to memory of this movie called Pumpkinhead. And let me tell you, I hear weird things on in regards to alien abductions and weird references. Did he call himself Pumpkinhead, or are you just describing him the way he looks?
He did not speak. He did not speak, but he was clowning me like, I have control over you. I was paralyzed. He had a device that paralyzed me and held me down. He was like a larger alien, and his head glowed white glowing, and there were grays.
You know, I've never heard of a white glowing head on an alien before, but there's always a first. There's always a first in regards to these kind of encounters and possibly different alien species out there doing the. This wasn't an abduction or invitation. You were attacked in your home.
I had something. Yeah, this was like a home invasion. But earlier in my life, when I was preteen, I lived up in the mountains in Northern California, up in the northern Napa Valley, up in the hills where there was clean running streams, and I used to go out and fish and hunt, right? And literally seeing the ship come down. I was with friends. The ship came down, hovered over the trees, and everybody was like, "What the hell is that?" And I'm like, "Man, that's a fucking spaceship." Okay. And everybody took off, and I just stayed there and I watched. And they had a thing come down that sucked water right out of the creek, because you could just take a cup of drink right out of this creek. Drink so clear and clean, no problem. And they were getting water out of there, and there was grays running around. I saw them, and after I saw them, I got the hell out of there. But later on at my house, I was pinned down by this device that they used on me, and it held me like paralyzed. Like I felt like I could barely breathe. And then I saw this, and I just call him that. A pumpkin head is what I call him, because his head was bigger than a regular, the average image of a gray. And he was clowning me. Like, yeah, I saw you seeing me. And like every 4 years after that, no matter where I moved, he came to the house, pinned me down, but didn't mess with me, mess with people that were in my house. And I later on, I became alcoholic after that, literally, and hid out. I lived inside of a bridge, and I moved to a place where I was in such a tall building that I didn't think they could find me. I'm actually having a thing.
This thing changed your life. It freaked you out. This thing changed your life. It freaked you out. You weren't prepared for this encounter. You were being harassed. And then did you ever change your life around? What are you doing now? Are you being visited now? Because you seem like you're still on the run.
No, now I'm really cool. I'm not really worried about it. But I have this thing that's in my leg that I'm about to have removed. And I'm asking them to give it to me when they take it out of my leg. And I want it checked out, because there's been a thing that, all I remember is like after the time that I saw them in the hills, they stuck a thing in my leg, and it hurt like hell. And it's like a big lump in my leg now. And I think that's how you found me for so long. And I literally did hide out from them. It freaked me out pretty good, because, the first time, I was like, maybe I was dreaming or something like that, right? After that, I'm about every 4 years I had an experience because I lived even higher up in the hills in Napa County after that. And I seen them. They came to the house. I've owned 2 houses. They came there. Since then, I've only been renting and moving, literally. And I'm getting this thing taken out of my leg, and I'm going to find out what it is.
Before you do that, let's that's quite amazing because you got to document whatever happens before you take whatever is out of your leg, so you could prove and legitimize that it was in there before you get it enhanced when it's removed, and then get this analyzed, because there is a big thing about alien implants, and you might probably have one in there. I got your phone number, and tell you what, because I was just about to write you off right off the bat when you said pumpkin head, and people were like, "Oh, this is a joke." But now,
no, I'm not the movie pumpkin head. That's just what I call this alien. And I know he was like a leader of Grays. He didn't do anything, but he was clowning me like, "I caught you looking at me," and so he came and messed.
Yes, yeah, he's messing probably. Unfortunately, like some of these encounters, you got to go about it and go, look, this is amazing. What I'm seeing is incredible. And sometimes this is a shock and awe, and there's a lot of trauma involved. You'll never forget it. It happens like an imprint in your brain when you have these encounters. So that's what you're dealing with. And now you've recovered. Let's find out what's going on in your leg. We have your number. Maybe we could extract this thing and do it the right way, so we know for sure that it was coming from a source possibly that's extraterrestrial.
That's cool with me. I mean, I am going to a good dermatologist real soon here. But if you're into doing that, it's cool too.
Reach out to me.
Yeah.
Reach out to me. My contact is in my About page on YouTube. That's where anybody could contact me, but my email's there. Why don't you keep me updated? I really want to find out what's going to go down with this caller. And maybe we could do updates in regards to this, incredible story that I'm sure glad we didn't dismiss it. That's for sure. We got to let people talk. We got to let the public speak. Now let's get to F1. F1 is with us right now. We got a few minutes left. And F1 so far, do you have anything new to share or comments on what we just heard tonight?
I was just saying it seems like things are getting really close to. The young lady from D.C. was mentioning, where she lives. It's a matter of how you view things. But there was one thing I wanted to share with you, that there was a commercial that's been running recently, and it's pretty blatant. It's a U.S. Army commercial that has a man talking about his daughter and how she's protecting us from aliens, and that he has faith in her to protect the globe from aliens. And it's not talking about illegal aliens or people. And it's so blatant, and I was wondering if you had seen that. And there's been another commercial as well that is basically putting it right in your face, and there's no misinterpreting what they're saying or what they're trying to represent. And a really cool show tonight. A lot of good people.
Yeah, it was really cool to get the people speaking, and it was all loud and clear. It wasn't muffled too bad. It's really good broadcast tonight, and no interruptions, no hacking going on tonight. I think
that's kind of amazing in itself.
Yeah, we've got the virus is dead. The viruses don't last forever. We've broken through, and it's quite amazing that people are still on there, and they are there. It's just you just don't see it with this hack. But let me tell you about Independence Day, because this is maybe what you're seeing in this commercial. I know that the U.S. military didn't want to get involved with Independence Day after they said that you couldn't talk about Area 51. They told the movie producers,
yep.
If you want to do Independence Day, we'll be more than happy to help you out. You could use our jets. You could use our massive equipment, as you will. And the producer says, well, we got to mention Area 51. And they said, well, no, we can't help you there. And now they're coming out with this movie, the sequel, right? I'm not sure if there's some kind of collaboration going on now, because I got a feeling that they have to be now. Hollywood and the military must be in collaboration now, as they weren't maybe.
This commercial, Blake, just says very blatantly, an African American vet blatantly says that I know my daughter will protect us well from the aliens, and that she will be protecting our globe, our not the United States, not the Earth, but just she'll be protecting us from visitors from afar. And it's blatant. It says it straight like that. And it got my attention. You know, commercials are commercials, but that's the second one I've seen just recently that is not trying to hide it.
And they always, the military commercials are the biggest, highest production value you'll ever see on TV. And they're always throwing these subliminal messages in. And
yeah,
when
but this is cut and dry. This is really in your face, and that's what was so surprising to me.
I did say, but do you think it's not because if you look closely at their banners, or they have some kind of insignia patch on their uniform, and it's matching the exact same insignia. You have to look at the trailer. Look at the trailer for the new Independence Day movie, and I think they're wearing the exact same insignia. You might have to do some research.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it could be, like I'm saying, a collaboration for the movie.
The fact that they're showing the insignia is kind of letting you know as well. And let's not forget about our general that just basically said that there are aliens and that they are using super soldiers. And there's no BS about that either in that statement that he made. It's like the young lady said, it's I feel like everything, it's time. And the fact that your show hasn't been interrupted by any mechanical or electronic weirdness tonight, I think it's time where it's just going to come out. I think we're so close. They're discussing nanotechnology as far as being able to reverse your aging process with something called neutronics, NOO. There's a lot of stuff out there right now that doesn't seem to be mincing words, and it seems exciting. To be very information revealing.
Very, very exciting times, actually. And we have the possibility now to reverse engineer ourselves. And then you could pretty much pick an age where you want to stop it, where you want to.
That's correct. Yeah.
And this is going to be
quite amazing. They can actually release nano robots that are nano size, obviously, which is below microscopic, and they can control it with light to direct it to where it needs to get bad parts of infection in your body and then take the healthy ones and basically reverse your age process. Not stop it, but actually reverse it.
And put it, and no damage to anything else in the body. It's just basically taking out what's bad and leaving what's good, and even repairing what's good and make it better. Things are happening right now, and the things are exciting. Let's just say our kids, our grandchildren, if everything goes well, there's a lot of place around for Earthlings, because with anti-gravity and massive cities that could float in the air, don't worry about space. And you could build food out of thin air, because the nanos could build whatever you want, because it's all around us, the atoms. We can put all the elements together and build whatever food we want. There's not going to be any shortage for water, food. It's all there, people. F1, thanks for calling in.
You got it. I'm very glad that I lived this long to see it come to fruition.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we're going to benefit from it if we don't stop it. We're going to get it out, people. We're going to get out the information to the world. Things are happening in real time. If you captured anything amazing in regards to alien technology, have you been abducted by aliens? We want to know. You've got a Google coordinate of a discovery you want to share that is amazing. That'll blow us away. Man, we love those things. Everybody, keep your eyes on the skies. We'll be back next week, Friday. Same time, everybody. Be sure to check out Third Phase of Moon on our YouTube channel. Quite amazing daily updates, people. Blake Cousins, keep your eyes on the skies. We'll see you again next time.
Phase Third.